Hello friends, this lecture is about introduction to the subject Big Data Analytics. This is an elective subject for semester 7 in computer department of University of Mumbai. As you can find, this is departmental elective and there is a lab for this particular subject as well as there is a mini project. There are total 6 units in this subject. According to my observation, these 6 units are divided into 3 main topics or 3 main points. The first one is batch processing, second one is stream processing, and the third one is NoSQL. Let us discuss them one by one and how many units of our syllabus are relevant to those specific points. At the beginning we will get it clear what is the difference between batch processing and stream processing. Batch processing is all about analytics of a data which is stored either in the database or in some file. Let us take an example. Suppose we are storing some relational data in MySQL and then we are performing analysis or analytics of that. That is called as a batch processing. At the same time, suppose we have saved or we have stored some content in CSV file or Excel sheet or a JSON file. Now on this stored content, if you are doing analytics, that is we are calling as a batch processing. Now what exactly stream processing is? Stream processing is all about analytics of a data which is on the live content. The content which is available currently active, that will be used for stream processing. Now let us see what exactly where exactly stream processing is applicable. You might have observed there is a concept of YouTube Live or there is Facebook Live. All the live users who are watching a video of YouTube Live or Facebook Live, their browsing activities or their genres, they belong to the analytics type of stream processing. On the other hand, you might have observed that at the end of every year Google is declaring name of a celebrity who was searched maximum. Now how exactly they are doing this analytics? Whenever we are firing some query on a Google or whenever we are searching about some celebrity, the search query is going in the database, and at the end of the year the count of those searches, how many people who have done search for the same celebrity, that will be identified by the Google, and then they are declaring that this is a particular celebrity who was searched maximum number of times throughout the year. So the searching of a celebrity on Google by people or by followers belongs to the batch processing, but the active logins of the users who are watching a particular YouTube live video or Facebook live video, that belongs to the stream processing. This is the basic difference between batch processing and stream processing. We will take few more examples, but before going to that, we will clear the third point, that is non-relational database. If you are familiar with MySQL, it is a relational database. Now what is the meaning of relational database? A relational database is having some structure, and that structure of MySQL or MariaDB is like there is a database which we are calling as a schema, there is a table inside a schema, and multiple such tables can be part of a schema. One table is having the records. They are available in the format of rows and columns. Rows are called as tuples and columns are called as attributes. So every table is having tuples and attributes, and there is some structured behavior for this database. So MySQL or MariaDB are the relational databases, but this is not the concept with NoSQL. As you can find, unit number 3 belongs to NoSQL. As we are having table and tuples in relational database, there is one more concept in non-relational database. It is called collection and documents. The entity in the relational database we are calling a table. The same entity is known as a collection in NoSQL, and the entity we are calling tuple in the relational database, same entity will be called as a document in NoSQL. That means collection is equivalent to table and document is equivalent to tuple. Now what about attributes? Is there any concept of attributes in NoSQL? Yes, there is a concept of attributes in NoSQL. The fields are equivalent to attributes in NoSQL, but the major difference between NoSQL or non-relational database and relational database is NoSQL doesn't have any kind of mandatory requirement on number of columns, that is fields. Let us take an example. Just consider we have to store the purchase history of all the users who are logged into Amazon or Flipkart. Now if we are deciding that we will store this overall purchase history of an individual user in a database, we need to take some tuples and some attributes. The tuple will be the user ID or the username, and the attributes will be the number of products which are purchased. Now what is the problem in this particular example? Whenever you are going to, or whenever we are going to store the content, at that time your purchase history or purchase history of an user A will be different from purchase history of user B, C, D, E. So every user is purchasing different number of products. Now if we are taking the first attribute as a user ID and the remaining attributes as the purchase history of that user, so number of attributes will be different for each and every user, because the number of products which are purchased by every individual user are different. Consider I have purchased 10 products on Amazon, you might have purchased 100 products. Now in that case, my user ID will be having 10 columns and your user ID will be having 100 columns. So this will increase the space complexity. And at the same time, if you want to create such kind of table in MySQL or MariaDB, at that time you may have to implement the concept of foreign key, because you will have to create a separate table for purchase history, and the primary key of the purchase history you will have to link as a foreign key in the main table, and suddenly the complexity of overall database operation will increase. You will have to apply some natural joins, you will have to apply some inner or outer joins. So here conceptual lacuna will be there. We cannot claim that it will not work. It will work, but there will be some complications whenever you are executing the terms. What is the solution for that? The solution is NoSQL. What NoSQL does? NoSQL is also having table. NoSQL is also having tuples as they are in the SQL, but there is less important for the concept of columns or attributes. In NoSQL, inside a collection means inside a table, everything is stored as a document, and each and every document can have any number of fields. That means any tuple can have any number of columns. That means tuple number 1 and tuple number 2 need not have same number of columns. What is the advantage of this? In this case, we will again discuss the example which we have taken earlier. If your Amazon purchase history and my Amazon purchase history will be compared, the document which will be having your purchase history will be having 100 fields and my purchase history will be having only 10 fields. So it will automatically save the space complexity, it will reduce the space complexity, and the operations will become much more efficient. So which are the databases which are available in NoSQL? The one which is much more popular and which is open source, that is Mongo database. As MariaDB is open source in relational database, Mongo database is open source in non-relational database. So the third unit of this syllabus is on the basis of NoSQL. The first two units are there which are relevant to batch processing. Now there is an architecture that is called as a Hadoop architecture. The Hadoop project has been designed in 2004 by Google team. Later on, Hadoop became Apache product. Now it is Apache Hadoop. Hadoop is having HDFS, that is Hadoop Distributed File System, and which performs the batch processing of overall data which is already stored. So unit number 1 gives more focus on the Hadoop ecosystem. How exactly Hadoop works, how many layers are there. So all these things are identified in Hadoop. Now what is the second unit? The second unit is discussing the HDFS, Hadoop Distributed File System, and there is an algorithm that is MapReduce. Now what exactly this MapReduce algorithm does? MapReduce algorithm is having the concept of key value pairs. Let me give you one more classical example for MapReduce. Just imagine a celebrity to whom you are following on Twitter or on Facebook has shared a post, and you are sharing that post. Now in that case, what happens? That post will become visible on your timeline as you shared somebody's post. Now if 1 lakh shares are there for the original post, you will find how many shares are there in the right hand corner. Now is it happening like 1 lakh replicas of that post will be generated on everybody's timeline? It is never happening. Here the concept of MapReduce will be implemented at the back end. Suppose a celebrity has shared a post and you are celebrity has posted some photograph and you are sharing it. In that case, the key will remain constant, the value will increment. What is the key? The key of username of that celebrity which is associated with that particular post, that is going to remain constant. But as and when the sharing count will increase, all the users are doing same kind of activity. And what is the activity? They are sharing the same post. So the value will keep on increasing, and that value will be shown whenever you are watching that post on your timeline. How many shares are there? Even if you are posting something, you will find how many shares are there. So whenever you are getting the share count, at that time actually MapReduce algorithm is implemented. We have just discussed only single example of MapReduce. There are multiple such examples which are part of this one. So second unit specifically belongs to the MapReduce algorithm and different classical examples of that, which can be covered with practical existence. So the first 3 units we have discussed. The first 2 units are belonging to batch processing. Third unit belongs to NoSQL. The remaining 3 units belong to the stream processing. The fourth unit is mining the data streams. There is a data model, or there are some filtering concepts, that is Bloom filter or counting the distinct elements. Let us discuss these concepts one by one. Now what exactly is happening here? The stream data model takes the readily available data. What is readily available data? The users which are active right now, the users which are live right now. Why YouTube and Facebook have brought into the picture the concept of YouTube Live or Facebook Live? Because they want how many users are there who are active right now, as well as what is the categorization of those users, what type of activity they are doing, which pages they are following, which videos they are watching, how exactly YouTube and Facebook uses this kind of analytics in their revenue model. Suppose there are two YouTube live videos which are getting streamed at a time. The genre of first video is marketing. Some marketing expert is explaining the marketing strategies, and there is one more video whose genre is music. Some musician is explaining how exactly you can play effective music. Now both the videos are being streamed at the same time, and 1 lakh viewers are there for each video. Now what happens at the back end? YouTube and Facebook is getting the categorized data of 1 lakh user each for a particular genre. How they can use that? Whenever you are watching a video, and at that time they are coming to know that your browsing habit is tending towards marketing, or your browsing habit is tending towards music. Now next time whenever you are active on the page, at that time they may share some ad with you which is including some marketing concepts or some marketing products, or they may share you some products which are belonging to music industry. So this is how, on the basis of browsing habit, they are getting the type of user and which type of products they are interested in. So the concepts which are available in this particular unit, they are belonging. Now try to relate the concepts which are available over here with the examples I told you. There is a concept of Bloom filtering. What exactly Bloom filter does? Bloom filter is filtering or identifying the keywords and categorizing those keywords for the further analytics. There is one more concept, that is counting distinct elements in a stream. Counting distinct elements in a stream means what? Identifying how many users are having similar type of habits. That means if you are watching a YouTube video of marketing genre and 1 lakh other users are there along with you, that means this is a set of 1 lakh distinct users, and same kind of ads can be posted to all these users. So this is how processing will be done. There is one more concept, that is counting frequent items in a stream. Which user is spending more amount of time on which particular page? Depending on that, they will identify popularity of that page. If there are frequent users which are available on a particular page, you might have seen on a celebrity page there is a list of top fans. Who is in the list of top fans? If you are frequently visiting to that celebrity, that means there is a more probability that they may post ad to an individual user or to the top fan of that celebrity. That means if there is some advertise which is done by that celebrity and you are top fan of that celebrity, there is more probability that something which has been promoted by that particular celebrity, you will purchase it. So this is belonging to the counting frequent items in a stream. So these things are belonging to the stream processing. First one is a batch processing and this one is a stream processing. The fifth unit belongs to the finding similar items and clustering. Whenever you are browsing some products on Amazon or Flipkart, you might have seen customers who purchase this particular product, they purchase that also. That means if you are browsing for a mobile, at the bottom you will find there will be one more brand which is for mobile cover or some relevant products to that mobile. So this is all about finding the similar items, and they will try to gather a cluster of all the users who are having similar kind of browsing habits. So here the distance measure concept will be identified. different types of distances are there. It might be Euclidean distance or Jaccard distance or cosine distance. Depending on these distances, the browsing habits of users will be identified and their clusters will be made. I will give you a very classical example of clustering. Suppose there is a photograph of all the Chinese people, and that photograph is shown to you at the beginning, and there are 20 people in that photograph. What will be your first impression? You will find all the people are looking similar. But just consider, now you are interacting with an individual from that photograph for next 7 days, and after 7 days again, if same photograph is shown to you, now you will be able to categorize those people. So this is the actual concept of clustering. Whenever we are defining the clustering, there are some characteristic properties which are identified in our brain, and depending on that, characterization or categorization will be done of an individual character or of an individual image, and depending on that, you will start bifurcating the things. So this clustering can be applied in marketing domain like Amazon or Flipkart, by identifying the cluster of all the users who are having similar kind of browsing habits or purchase habits. Where exactly this is applicable? This can be useful whenever the review process is identified. Whenever you are getting some product is there in the trending list or in the bestseller list, at that time the distance between all the clusters is identified. How many people are having good sentiments about a particular product? How many people are having similar kind of sentiments about a particular product? So all these things are considered whenever Amazon and Flipkart are bringing the products in trending or in the bestseller list. So this particular concept is applicable here. The last point is about the big data models which are real time, and there is an algorithm that is PageRank overview. You can find there is an algorithm that is PageRank. This algorithm of PageRank in data analytics is different from the PageRank algorithm which is available in operating system. The PageRank algorithm is used, or it is identified at the beginning in a successful manner by Google team. The name itself has been given PageRank because of the founder of Google, whose name is Larry Page. Now, how exactly page ranking works? Whenever we are firing some query, suppose I am searching for some products, health equipment products, or products of a gym, or supplements of the gym. Now, whenever I am searching for supplements of gymnasium, or whenever I am searching for the supplements or the products for performing gym, at that time, whenever I am firing some query, the genetics of that query will be identified internally by Google search engine, and they will try to bring the most relevant content which is according to your query. You might have seen this, you might have experienced this. Suppose you are firing some query on Google, consider APSIT College of Engineering. So immediately after firing this query on Google, if you are observing the address bar, you may find it is firing like APSIT plus college plus of plus engineering. So these all the keywords are crawled separately in the data mines, and depending on that, the most relevant page which is fulfilling all these keywords is brought in front of you. So this is done by PageRank algorithm. It has been defined. PageRank algorithm was there earlier of formation of Google, but Google is the organization who executed that PageRank algorithm in a most effective manner. So these are the 6 units of big data analytics syllabus, which are divided mostly in 3 points. The first point is batch processing, second point is stream processing, and the third point is NoSQL. The list of textbooks and reference books are given in the syllabus. Whenever I am going to deliver any lecture, at that time I will be referring the presentation points which are done by these original authors only. So that's all about overview of syllabus of this particular subject. Thank you.